Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It is Judicious Fire, and I am here with Here Be Monsters 34 and 35. We're going to look at base design. We're going to look at the heroes, how we set them up. We're going to look how we beat 34 and 35, the two most recent additions to the Here Be Monsters series. Please hit the subscribe button. Let's keep stuff like this going. I'm going to put this video into chapters. Those chapters will be down in the description of the video. They'll have timestamps so you can jump to wherever it is that you want to go. I'm a watcher of Castle Clash videos as well as a maker of Castle Clash videos. And if I'm looking at some kind of a setup, I want to be able to click and get to how they have the heroes set up and not me going on into these stories and into the minutia. So I'll give you chapters this time. I hope some stick with me because chapter 4 is going to be story time for a little while. We'll look at Here Be Monsters from a more philosophical standpoint. Okay, so chapter 1 will be base design. Chapter 2 is going to be heroes. I'm going to show you how I have them set up. I'm going to do it quick without commentary. Chapter 3 is going to be going back to those heroes, now with commentary, explaining my rationale and the reason for setting them up in that fashion. And then chapter 4 will probably be just general, life talk. And the history of Here Be Monsters, and the Queen of HBM, and all that stuff will make sense later. Let's get started. Chapter 1, base design. Alrighty, we got base design. Take a look up at the top where the two sets of walls come together. We have two hero bases. Those two hero bases are right up against the walls and they can't go any further to the edge. So right up against the walls, right up against the edge. Got two hero bases right up there. Got a hero base over here on the left hand side. It too is against the edge. It can't go any further. Got a hero totem right next to it. Get down to the bottom. It's a mirror image of the top. You've got two hero bases right at the edge of the board and parked up against the walls. Don't worry about where bomb traps or any of that stuff is. I just stuck it down there for organizational purposes. Over on the right hand side, you have mirror image of the left hand side. You've got one hero base tucked away in the corner, can't go any further to the edge. You've got a hero totem nearby. Okay, buildings. Buildings, I want you to look at this and say to yourself, this is wrong. I'll tell you it's wrong, okay? I tell me it's wrong. I could do better, I think, at this HBM 34 and 35 if I spread my buildings out. I should have my buildings, let's take a couple, I should have them kind of, spilling out into this area and covering as much empty space as possible and not have them so tightly packed into rows like this. It only makes it harder to survive. So spread your buildings out all the way to the four corners, filling up all of the board as you possibly can. I'm going to put it to you this way, we are dealing with armies of killer enemy Serraticas. And for me as a base builder, the only thing that I fear more than armies of killer enemy Serratica would be asymmetry in my base design. So I'm stuck with this. Take a look at how things are distributed. Equal number of walls in all four locations. Okay, in totem. In the two totems, you would probably do better. Don't do what I'm doing, but you would probably do better if you put maybe Lazilix in one of these totems to provide a big burst of freeze, and then maybe in the other one put Boreal Fox to provide, I think, on two areas of the board, a freeze effect that will take place. Now me, I've only ever run two heroes in totem for all time since Totem came out, and this was possible. I've got Pumpkin Duke in 1 on the left, and I've got Michael on the right. I do that because no matter where they're located, as soon as a hero triggers it, it gives the entire team, globally across the board, gives them a huge attack speed boost, attack boost, and in addition, the Michael totem, any hero nearby, and that's well on the right hand side, well within the nearby zone, also gets a deflect effect. So spread the buildings out and good luck with the building design. Chapter 2, the heroes. We'll look at these hero setups and also their positions on the board, and we're going to do so briefly. Up at the top, have Flower Fae, Dynamica. Right hand side, I've got Asura. Bottom right, I have Cosmo. Bottom left, I have Cold Heir. On the left hand side, I have Serratica. And PD on the left in Totem, and Mike on the right next to Asura in Totem. Let's go into the Heroes Altar. Flower Fae was the first hero that I mentioned. I see Flower Fae with a dragon's cover, Spooky Ferryman pet, Empower 0 in, Gear, Spectre's Instinct, and the heroes that I put into the Epic Hero system are heroes that have really, really high attack. I'm not so worried about accuracy in this game mode. Next hero in the order is Dynamica. You see a dragon's cover, as well as the Lunar Wolfling pet, a Zealous Drive, a Victory Horn insignia, Gear, Spectre's Instinct, and the heroes inside of the Epic Hero system are all focused towards as much attack as possible. Next is Asura. Asura has a Tenacity, Drogo pet, a Revive, a Spike Shield, Gear, a Victory Lunge. Next is our buddy Cosmo. Cosmo has a Sacred Light, Frost Titan pet, an Empower, a Blood Barrier insignia, Gear, and a Holy Conviction. Now we have Cold Heir. We see a dragon's cover as well as Cold Drake pet, a Sacred Light, a 0 in insignia, Gear, a Holy Conviction, and in the assist system, heroes that are high in attack. Last but not least is Serratica. Serratica has a dragon's cover as well as Sage Lioness pet, a Zealous Drive as well as a Victory Horn, Gear, and a Holy Conviction. All of the heroes in the assist system are high attack heroes. And now we're into chapter 3. Let's dig a little bit deeper and let's look at why we set the heroes up this way and what we're really trying to achieve in Here Be Monsters 34 and 35. Our enemies in HBM 34 and 35, they are varied and they are plentiful. But our real problem is the fact that we have weak buildings. Our buildings get smashed up. Once our buildings get smashed up, it's game over for us. We will find that we have 6 very healthy heroes around the edges of the board, but no more buildings left. This is because we're dealing with a lot of Axe Punishers, Commodoras, and Cosmos. In order to stop them from proccing or activating their skill, we have to employ strategies like inhibit or entangle or paralyze. Those heroes that cause the most base damage, they can be affected by those conditions. Flower Fae is somebody who puts out an inhibit, does a great job of it. She's also very, very tough. Not saying in every game mode in Castle Clash, but in HBM 34-35, she's one of the last heroes standing, always. Flower Fae, she heals herself, but she also heals the entire team globally. That's fantastic. Now, she's not in the same ballpark as a Rambard. She's not in the same zip code as a Walla Walla. But if you have pretty high level heroes, Flower Fae will do a great job healing them up, keeping them alive. Nice supporter in that way too. I have a Dragon's Cover on her because she is susceptible to Reflect and it can kill her off. In fact, in a manner of speaking and under the right circumstances, pretty much every hero that we have and that we're using here is susceptible to Reflect in some form or fashion. If the hero breaks damage caps or has a 0 in, it can take you out immediately. In this case, we're dealing with heroes also who can break damage caps. We have a Spooky Ferryman pet. Oh, that Spooky Ferryman pet. One of the great additions to the game of Castle Clash. One of my favorite pets already. Got to do a video on Spooky Ferryman pet. Forget the stuff at the top of the description. It's not important. The bottom. When Spooky Ferryman pet comes out onto the board, just exists. Just existing alone. Not attacking, not being attacked, no caveats, nothing. Just existing. The hero gets a 30% crit rate increase. And that 30% crit rate increase is global and affects all friendly heroes. If you are in a lava isle with 3 other players and you've got now 20 total heroes on the board, one Spooky Ferryman pet will give all 20 heroes a 30% crit rate boost. Crit rate is our ability to perform a critical strike. A critical strike is damage done atop the original damage from the successful attack. Crit damage is the damage caused by the critical hit. Accuracy is most important. Without that, you're not doing any of the stuff that I'm talking about. You just dance around like a fool. Once you have good accuracy, go with crit rate. Crit rate is vastly more important than crit damage. Who cares what damage you're doing if you're not actually critting? You've got to crit. That's where Spooky Ferryman comes into play, and I put crit rate traits on both of my Spooky Ferrymen just to get the crit up for the hero holding it, and hey, the more the merrier. Insignia, this is an auto proc hero, so the heal and the inhibiting effect and Spooky Ferryman, everything's going to be running all the time, and that's why we have the Empower. We have a 0 in. Probably Blood Barrier would be better. If you're finding your Flower Fae is getting killed, put a Blood Barrier on there. But my Flower Fae is just, she's a tank. So I give her the ability to just kill people off, get the big attack boost, and in addition, kill off Serraticas left and right. She's dicing them and slicing them. Got gear. Got a full set, yeah, and that does add all of these statistics, all of these attributes and statistics. But it's taken a long time. This is a lengthy process. I only have 7 complete sets like this, and 6 of them are on these heroes that we're looking at right now. Equipment. Spectre's Instinct. Going to inflict inhibit. Going to inflict entangle. stop those Commodoras and the Axe Punishers. She's putting out an inhibit, certainly, but it's not all the time. It's not consistent, and this helps a lot too. And now we have Dynamica. Dynamica does damage to different places on the board, global effect, damage over time, breaks damage caps, really great hero killer, one of the best, if not the best in the game. Has a dragon's cover in this particular 34 and 35 of Hero Monsters. He can get killed off with reflect damage pretty quickly. He's got a Lunar Wolfling. Lunar Wolfling inflicts inhibit, very much like Flower Fae, but in a pet way. And we need to have inhibit going all around the board as best as we possibly can. So this really helps with that. My Dynamica already had very, very high accuracy. In fact, most of my heroes do. I begin with a build, a foundation of accuracy, and then just build upon that. I have all attack on the Lunar Wolfling pet, so it really helps Dynamica to be a better hero killer. He's got a Zealous Drive. He needs a little bit of extra damage reduction, and Zealous Drive also gives a big attack boost. He's got a Victory Horn. He does have a built-in healing process, but I tell you, it takes only a hit or two and the guy just gets vaporized. Gotta have a consistent healing process on this man, plus the big attack boost that it provides. If you're finding that your Dynamica is living and always doing fine, you can switch out the Zealous Drive and put in maybe an Order-Bound Bow in there. You could even put in an Aggressor's Price, but you're really pushing the edge and the envelope of his life and death. Order-Bound Bow would be about as far as I would care to push it. We've got the gear. We've got equipment. A Spectre's Instinct as well to keep inhibit going and to keep heroes entangled. Dyna does a fantastic job. He's one of the main core heroes on the team. And next we have Asura. Asura was a suggestion from Bubble Fabled, Bubblegum Jelly here on Castle Clash, one of our great strategists and DPS players. And Asura made a heck of a difference once I put him in. Asura pushes damage back at the enemy. We don't want to minimize the damage that goes back by giving Asura any kind of damage reduction. That's why the tenacity. It's just pure health, no damage reduction. Drogo Pet. Drogo Pet provides an attack boost, sure. It's not really what we're using Asura for, but it gives a 65% reflective damage. That stacks or helps to fill in the gaps of Asura's skill of deflect. The insignia, we have a revive. Asura's tough, but not that tough. He's probably going to die off probably two times during the course of this battle. We also have a spike shield, and spike shield is going to provide a 60% chance to reflect 100% of the damage. So there's always heavy reflect deflect going on in some form or fashion with Asura. That's what we're trying to do. Got the gear, equipment. Don't worry about the attack bonus from Victory Lunge, doesn't really matter. It's the reflective 20% damage. That stacks onto Asura's skill and will make him an even better reflector, deflector of damage. Let's jump back up onto the board. We see our friend Asura in the right hand corner, and in that totem is Michael, and that's the hero that provides a global attack boost to all the heroes on the board, but also gives a deflect to a hero nearby. And when the totem is triggered, you'll see a blue bubble form around Asura, and it just adds and stacks and helps to fill in those lulls of deflect and just makes him even better at what he does. So that's why I have that totem next to him. Let's go back into the altar. And now let's look at Kaz. Kaz has a Sacred Light. I think that Kaz, he's not putting out enough damage that Dragon's Cover is really necessary. He's not going to kill any heroes. He's just designed to hold them into place with these paralysis bubbles or stop them from proccing, hopefully, at the edge of the board. So don't worry about the reflect mitigation. Give him Sacred Light. He needs damage reduction because he's not tough. He needs health because his health is not very high. Got Titan Pet on him. Titan Pet is going to provide a paralyze effect to nearby heroes. Really nice for stopping the base destructors. On my Titan Pet, I have all accuracy. It's not really super important in this game mode, but that's what I happen to have on the Titan Pet. For the insignia, I have an Empower to keep his Cosmo bubbles, the 2 Cosmo bubbles, keep them going pretty much all the time. I've got a Blood Barrier, so he can stay away from having negative conditions. Also give him a damage reduction that he needs. He's not tough. Holy Conviction. Better healing he receives from Flower Fae, and also great damage reduction to keep him alive. And we have our friend Cold Heir. Cold Heir is going to do damage globally. He's going to debuff. He's going to do tremendous kill strike damage under the right circumstances and with the right insignia. I'll show you that in a moment. Really, really great hero for taking out the bad guys. He's got a Dragon's Cover because of the reflect possibility. He has a Cold Drake. Cold Drake can freeze up heroes when they are flying, but more so it provides a deflect of damage, a reflect of damage to 18%. Helps to keep him alive. He is next to Asura and Cosmo. He's probably the hero that goes out more quickly than the others. And on my Cold Drake, I have all attack. Insignia, I've got a Sacred Light on him. I'm not worried about him constantly operating, even though he is auto proc. I would much rather him stay alive. Only 2 auto procs I've got running are Flower Fae and Cosmo. This guy's designed to stay alive. Now he has the capability, even with Dragon's Cover and a Sacred Light, still has the capability to kill off heroes by the bushel, and that's why he has the 0 in. Now he can break damage caps. He can take out 2-3 Serraticas at a time. Gets 150% attack boost. He's got his gear. He has a Holy Conviction to keep him alive. I'm not saying these builds in any other kind of capacity. I'm saying in Here Be Monsters, okay? So Cold Heir, and then that leaves us with one more. Let's jump to Serratica. All right, we have our buddy Serratica. Serratica fires out these missiles of doom, and they do punishing damage that can break any damage cap in the game. Take out a Dynamica, take out a fellow Serratica. He really is, he's like a samurai. He's like a dragon samurai. He's got a Dragon's Cover in order to keep him alive from the reflect that can kill him. He's got a Sage Lioness, because Sage Lioness gives a little bit of damage reduction. He can go out pretty easy. And it also provides a Petrify. So we got Paralysis, we've got Petrify, we've got Inhibit. Got a whole bunch of stuff going on that's going to get them all gummed up. Insignia, I've got a Zealous Drive. That is for the damage reduction as well as the increase in attack. I mentioned earlier that if you wanted to really push the attack on Dynamica, you could maybe do an Order-Bound Bow, some kind of attack-oriented insignia instead of the Zealous Drive. I wouldn't do that on Serratica. I've noticed that if I put in really anything that's more attack and a little bit less damage reduction, he ends up dying pretty quickly. I've got the Victory Horn to give him a repeated healing process, as well as a nice 150% attack boost. got the gear, got a holy conviction on him, so all that healing now gets increased and he gets more damage reduction. We're not really worried so much about making super duper killers here. The bad guys go out pretty quickly. We're interested in stopping them from destroying the base and then taking them out as quickly as we can. Let's jump out of this mode and let's look at the leaderboards. And we're looking at the leaderboard. Got Egg Fabled, BOA, Beasts of Arena, up at number 1 with a 38.6 second time. And I want to really give a shout out because since our server merge, which I loved the fact that we had this server merge because it really does up the competition and helps to bring, people who I was talking to just online, line app, bring us all together to be able to play beside one another to get first place among all clashers. We're not just talking about independent servers here like we used to. Among all clashers, 38.6. We go down here. Let's just go slow. Look at the great accomplishments and look at the times. Remember, best times 38.6. There's Bubble Fabled, who suggested the Asura. There I am at 40.2. Fam Fabled, Beasts of Arena BOA, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think I am, took first place in Archdemon this last week, our most recent Archdemon. And that's huge because it's all of Castle Clash. Amazing job. And I'll take it up to the top 20, and we see these great players. And 44.2. Remember that number. Let's go back up to the top. 38.6. So 4.2, 5.2, 5.6 second difference between first place and 20th place. 38.6, and I'm at 40.2. I'm 1.6 seconds away. Let's start to get to the end of the video. I'll just say this. I remember back in HBM AJs where I used letters. Remember AJ? That was a killer. I was working on that thing for 2 months, working on that AJ. I made videos about this. Doing AJ back and forth. Remember one of the great players in Castle Clash from the guild KOA. Guildie by the name of K9 Max said to me, Judicious, you gotta try the new talent or insignia called Wicked Armor, because your heroes are dying of reflect and they also don't have enough attack. Use the new thing called Wicked Armor, and once I did, it made all the difference in the world. So thank you, K9 Max. That's why we do these videos, so everybody can have a sporting chance, share out the ideas. Not my base, not my Asura idea. I didn't know about Wicked Armor, but when we're able to communicate this stuff together, it makes for a much better Castle Clash community. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your clashing, and I'll check you next time. Bye-bye.